Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Batwoman Season 2 review series. And today I am going to be talking about episode 16, Rebirth, which I have just finished watching, and this episode was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed this one a lot, and this was a great continuation from the end of episode 15 where we saw Luke Fox recover from his bullet wound after Ryan and Mary got hold of some desert rose and managed to help revive Luke Fox after he was shot a few episodes back. So this episode kind of carries on from that, and this has clearly put him on the path to becoming Batwing, which we all know is going to happen eventually. And we were treated to a pleasant cameo appearance from our very own David Ramsey, aka Arrow's John Diggle. And John Diggle in this episode, even though he only had a small part, he clearly plays an important role in Luke Fox's journey into becoming a hero in his own right. So this was probably for me the highlight of this episode, because I'm a huge fan of John Diggle anyway. He was one of my favourite characters from Arrow. So to see him back in the Arrowverse in Gotham City with Luke Fox was pretty cool. And the last time that we saw John Diggle in Gotham City was back in part 2 of the Elseworlds crossover event, where we saw Barry, Oliver, Kara, and other members of Team Arrow and Team Flash go to Arkham Asylum to try and stop Deegan. So this was great to see him back, and in a small role, in kind of like a mentor sort of role, because we still don't really know what the situation is with John Diggle, especially the last time we saw him at the season finale of the show, which ended up being the series finale of Arrow, where we saw John Diggle pick up a box and we saw a flash of green light. So we don't really know whether or not John Diggle has become the Green Lantern yet, but obviously we will probably learn what the situation is with him very, very soon, and hopefully sooner rather than later. So, with that all said, let's get right into it. Let's talk about episode 16, Rebirth. So this episode opens up with a masked woman with 2 swords attacking a businessman and escapes before Batwoman can stop her. When Batwoman calls into the Batcave, we see Luke Fox doesn't answer, and she finds him sitting on the ledge of Wayne Enterprises. Luke suggests that he needs some time to himself, and Ryan of course respects that but offers her help if he needs it. Later we see Batwoman discovers that the masked woman is Tatana. Ryan and Mary discover that one of Tatana's victims was the one who Cersei attacked, leading to her going to Arkham Asylum. Tarov is released on bail, and Luke goes undercover at a bar for law enforcement, where he confronts Tavarov and challenges him to a poker match. Ryan arrives to check in on Luke, who reveals that he didn't want to wake up from his coma, and he saw his dad and he wanted to stay with his dad. We then see Luke meets John Diggle, who is in town on a contract on Argos, and plays poker against Taravov, and Luke wins. Outside of the bar, Taravov starts a fight with Luke, but Diggle steps in and helps fight him off and protects him. Psygnosis is still unhappy with Jacob Kane's status in Gotham, in part because he blames him for killing Cersei. Psygnosis meets with Sapphire, who had provided him the information to crash Kate's plane. Psygnosis also reveals he's planning to reintroduce Cersei into the society, including making her the face of Rebirth. Janice Cosmetics' new line. Sapphire tells Psygnosis about Alice's connection to the Kanes. Meanwhile, Alice and Jacob kidnap Cersei, and a DNA test reveals that she really is Kate Kane. Ocean brings them a bag of Kate's belongings to help trigger her memory. Cersei doesn't budge until Alice offers her a mug she made her when Kate tried to come out to her as a child. This triggers Cersei into picturing young Kate locked in the same bunker that Alice was in. Jacob calls Mary on the phone and tells her about Cersei being Kate, just as Tatana and members of Full Space Society show up and kidnap Jacob. Batwoman drives the Batmobile to where the Kanes are and finds Cersei, who escaped. Psygnosis threatens to publicly expose the fact that Beth is really Alice and has GCPD officers arrest him. Ryan brings Cersei to Wayne Enterprises, where she doesn't recognise Mary. Sophie shows up and she instantly recognises her straight away. Cersei is triggered into another vision of young Kate being attacked by Cersei in the bunker, and Cersei attacks Mary, who knocks her out with a sedative. They realise that Alice is essential in unlocking Kate's memories from Cersei and that they might need to trade Sapphire for the Desert Rose to get her back. Later, Diggle recognises him as Lucius Fox's son, and they start to bond about their dead fathers. Diggle suggests that Luke try to become his own hero and reveals he's in Gotham because he has a medical appointment to figure out his headaches. They both see the bat signal being lit in Morse code, asking for Luke to come help Batwoman. Luke returns to the Batcave, and Ryan and Mary reveal to him that Cersei is really Kate. Cyanosis publicly reveals that Alice is Beth, and Jacob is confronted about it on the news, but he takes it in stride. Alice watches the news reports while being held hostage by Sapphire and Tatana. Sapphire confronts Alice for destroying Coriana and accuses her of being spoiled. Batwoman arrives with the Desert Rose in exchange for Alice's safety, and Sapphire accepts. As they're about to leave, Alice brings up Ocean, and Sapphire hints that he's being threatened. Alice leaves Batwoman and goes to the sewers, where she finds Tatana preparing to kill Ocean. She kills Tatana and finds Ocean is dead soon after. Sophie watches over Cersei in Mary and Ryan's apartments as she begins to battle the Cersei and Kate sides of her personas in her head. When Sophie leaves the room, Cersei is kidnapped again and brought back to Cyanosis and Sapphire. Jacob calls Mary from prison, where he reveals he's being transferred to a prison in Metropolis. So we've got a little Superman reference here. He asks Mary to help save both Alice and Cersei and argues that there's a way for them to be Beth and Kate again. Ryan tells her that she doesn't regret saving his life, and that pretty much ends episode 16. Overall, very good episode. The highlight of the episode for me was, of course, seeing John Diggle back and in a small mentor kind of role as he encourages Luke Fox to be his own man and become a hero in his own right. So I really enjoyed that a lot. And seeing Kate Kane back in the room, even though she has a completely different face now, with all of her friends, was a really cool moment. And I'm just wondering what happens next. Could we see Kate become Batwoman? Who knows, but time will tell, really. But I'm really enjoying season 2 so far, and we're starting to get close to the end now. We've still got a few episodes away from wrapping up season 2, but overall I've really enjoyed this a lot. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap up this review now. What did you think of episode 16? Did you enjoy it? What was your thoughts on John Diggle being in Gotham and having a few scenes with Luke Fox? Do you think John Diggle's words will inspire Luke Fox to become a hero in his own right? And also, do you think Kate will eventually get her full memory back, or do you think she'll still be Cyanosis' puppet? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Batwoman Season 2 review series, where I am going to be talking about episode 17, which I am very much looking forward to talking about. Should be a good one. So until next time, take care everybody, and stay safe, and once again, thanks for listening.